Hello, this is Brian Hegney, instructor of Game and Interactive Media Design. The last thing we're going to do is combine everything into the Unreal Engine, and what I'm going to do is go into my Photoshop. I'm going to save this so that it saves the maps.psd. I'm going to go ahead and save each map because I haven't done that yet, so I'm going to save this as my normals map, and that's going to save it as a targa. I'll save this as wingnut underscore normals. Save as wingnut underscore roughness. And I will say, I actually want this to be pretty metallic. Save that as metal, metallic. And save this as the diffuse. Now, because though, like, I'm saving this as a diffuse map as a color, I might as well just put, well, you never know what I'm going to put on here. I'm just going to save this as the diffuse. This really wasn't supposed to be about all of these maps. I actually just wanted to show the normals. Maybe that's what I'll do. The only other thing is, like, should I have done the shadows map in here? I'm not sure what's really going to happen, so let's go ahead and just add I'll get some shadows inside here. I don't think I'll get really many shadows in the corners here. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll go ahead and just do that. I'm going to add the skylight right there. I'm going to go into the Modify tab, make sure it casts shadows, bump the raise per sample up to 40, and I'm going to go ahead and select this wingnut, tap 0. All I'm going to do here, remember, I'm not going to do any, I don't need to pick the high poly because there is no high poly. I'm just going to add a shadows map, and I'm going to go ahead and save it into my project folder, wingnut maps. Let's go ahead and save this as a TGIA and call it wingnut shadows. I think that's all I have to do. Let's set it 2048 by 2048. I'm going to pause this, obviously, while I render that, because it's going to take a long time, I bet. All right. All right, here we go. So that shadows map does have a little bit of shadows in here, so that will be a little bit helpful, definitely in the inside. But what I want to do right now is just make sure I can export this out as an FBX to an FBX, and I will go to this PC, D drive. Wingnut. Ugh. Wingnut FBX. And I'm going to make sure I geometry include smoothing groups, definitely, and that's good. May not be some materials in the scene. Oops! Yeah, I left that green material on there. Oh well. Okay, I'm going to save this. And in my Unreal Engine, I'm going to go ahead and import that FBX. I'm going to... where... Do not create material is fine, and here I've got this nice little wing nut, and let's go ahead and make that big just so that I can see it. That's pretty cool. I like it. And let's go ahead and make that material. I'm going to go ahead and import all of my maps. I'm going to select my diffuse map. See, it's just a color right now, so I really don't need to add that as a color, but since I could actually create the color using a three vector constant. There's my diffuse. What do I need next? I need my metallic, which again, I could probably use a 1 constant and just set it to a value between 0 and 1. But here's my roughness. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but we'll see. Ooh, yeah. See, some of it's really smooth, some of it's not. And do I want to see how that's going to look? I'm going to go ahead and select my wing nut in my content browser, click on the teapot, and zoom in just a little bit. Yeah, see, I'd probably have to go in and kind of change that up a little bit. Because this is a little bit too not rough. Okay. And I'm going to add my shadows maps to my AO, ambient occlusion, which just adds a little bit in here. I'm going to take that roughness map off for a moment. I'm not thrilled with it. And my normals map, that's where the fun is going to happen. Yeah, there we go. So I get a little bit of the speckled nature. And I get that big BCH bump, okay? Yeah, okay, what would happen if I actually set this again, the roughness? Yeah, that's not at all what I wanted, but I'm gonna pause it for a moment. Okay, so I went back to Photoshop and I actually added a layer of I used a paintbrush that was like up here, this little splotchy paintbrush, and I went and added some globs of white. I also lightened up the black a little bit, or the dark, till it was almost white. So it was, you know, fairly rough, but splashes of non-rough. Or maybe what I should have done was actually go the other way and to have turned most of it black. Maybe that's what I should have done. And actually inverted this and multiplied that. But I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm so sorry. Alright, after a lot of screwing around, I kind of came up with this. I made my roughness map such that the places around the edges were whiter, which means rougher. I'd probably do it slightly differently, but just for brevity's sake. I then added some weird splotchy paintbrushes, and then of course darkened those a little bit, and saved that as a TGA and brought it in as my roughness map. And this is what my little wing nut looks like now. And so I can close this. Yes, I'll save it. Yep, and you can see that BCH again. That is not on the geometry at all. So the reason why I went over this is because we touched a little bit on normals map here last week. I just wanted to show you how much you can do with the normals map and how fun it can be. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and then how you can kind of attack simple shapes using things you already know. Alright, I hope this was fun for you, and I will see you all later. Bye!